Oh, what a weekend.
The demons are what? Gone.
Apologies for my voice. I flew back for the Gopher Penn State game at TCF Bank Stadium. Screaming the whole game, and Gophers barely hung on. I almost had a heart attack. It was just this feeling of everyone's in this together. Everybody was a part of something that is no Minnesota football fan has really experienced in over 50 years. The Gophers scored to take like a 12-point lead, and this drunk guy came over and just like gave me a hug. I think he sensed like the pain that I was in. Probably that, he probably has an ex-wife too or whatever. A few minutes later, Penn State had the ball and they were driving, and he came over to me and he's just like slurring his speech. He's like, they can't lose like this again. They can't. And I'm like, they're not gonna lose. Hey, they're gonna hold on. And I didn't believe what I was saying, but I didn't want him to like kill me. I was kind of afraid of that. So anyway, the Gophers hold on, win on a game-clinching interception. And the guy comes over and at the end, after it's clinched, and says, I just need a hug. And I reached out to hug him, and then he fell over because he was like really drunk. And I picked him up, I gave him a hug. And, that's kind of how I feel about us Vikings fans too. We're a bunch of broken down people, and we're just always worried that the worst thing is going to happen, that we're going to lose. And with good reason, because we always do. And it looked like it was going to happen in this game. But thank goodness for Jason Garrett.
The demons are what? Gone.
And his complete stupidity. Taking the ball out of Dak Prescott's hands. And instead trying to do what hadn't worked all game. And, Vikings win. Well, let's talk about the Cowboys game.
The demons are what? Gone.
Let's start with the positives. Dalvin Cook, just love him to death. Such a wonderfully white tiger. Kyle Rudolph, he's like the slowest human being on earth, but the guy can catch the ball.
Catch, control, 2 feet.
Mm-hmm. Throw to him in the end zone. Throw to him over the middle. Don't throw the screen. They used him properly in this game, and he what a catch. It's amazing. Eric Kendricks. Just that play on fourth down. That is the guy who I trust to make a play.
And Al, I'm telling you, Eric Kendricks this year in coverage has been unbelievable. He has made play after play, and it is only fitting that on the final play for the Dallas Cowboys, it was a failed attempt to Ezekiel Elliott.
The demons are what? Gone.
And the Vikings showed, in this game how 100% correct I've been, I said for weeks, Kirk Cousins is not your problem. He's better than he was. He's gotten better. He's not your problem.
Cousins is playing like he did in the month of October right now. He's not missing.
100% correct. I've said for weeks, the defense is the problem. The pass defense, lack of a pass rush is the problem. It was almost lost us the game. I've said for weeks, you got to give Mike Hughes a chance to cover their number one receiver.
Minus Trey Waynes. Second down and 8. Ton of time, and the pass is caught on the far side of the 44-yard line by Cooper, and that is Mike Hughes covering on the play. Down and 12. Prescott up in the pocket, throws, and that is Amari Cooper making the catch, who rolls and looks and throws and directs traffic, and that one is a touchdown again. Here comes the blitz. Prescott hangs in there, fires, caught. Cooper to the 30-yard line. Serenaded with a Coop chant. 10 catches, 139 yards for Amari Cooper.
Okay, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, So can they practice throwing the football to our cornerbacks, please, in practice? Just can somebody make an interception when the ball hits them right in their hands? Please, just one person, one frickin' guy. I watched the Gopher Penn State game. The Minnesota Gophers have nobody on their defense who was highly recruited. Nobody. None of their defensive backs could probably even be the water boy for Ohio State. And yet, play after play, the Gopher defense making interceptions. They can cover a guy, and when the ball's in the air, turn, locate the ball, and knock the ball down. And this is like not even the best cornerback for the Gophers. It's probably their number 4 cornerback is making this play. Yet not one guy on the Vikings can even come close to doing that once. I don't get it. I do not understand this defense, and they're just complete incompetence at defending the pass. It is mind-boggling. If they had a pass rush, though, it wouldn't be as big a deal. But the front 4 can't get pressure ever. They didn't get any pressure. Even when they blitz, they hardly ever get pressure. Everson Griffin doing his rush around the outside 5 yards behind the quarterback, that's real effective. I mean, I've said since week 1, since last year, the Vikings have, without question, the most overrated pass rush in the history of the NFL.
I think it's safe to say it's the best defensive line in the NFL.
And when the pass rush finally gets home, they finally nail Prescott on a key third down that might have clinched the game.
Holding. Defense number 22. The penalty's 5 yards from the previous spot and an automatic first down.
Huge. Harrison Smith,
holding, 22 defense. Way to go, big guy. And then later in the drive, he committed what was a blatant pass interference penalty in the end zone that wasn't called. That running around before the snap, running to the line of scrimmage and back, and trying to confuse the quarterback. That does nothing. That has never confused a quarterback ever. Chase Daniel, Matt Moore, all these backup quarterbacks lit the Vikings up. All it does is get him out of position.
This defense is you want to disguise what's going on. Watch Harrison Smith here. He's going to act like he's going to play down and then sprint back. And by that time, you've got Cobb that's able to take advantage of his sort of backwards momentum and cut underneath him.
Xavier Rhodes, okay, his reputation is in the toilet. Okay, so he's not really overrated anymore. Harrison Smith is now hands down the most overrated Viking. Hands frickin' down. That 91-yard touchdown run, before Anthony Harris missed the tackle, Harrison Smith is the one who whiffed. Harrison Smith's the one really responsible for that. Constantly out of position in pass coverage, and that's what we got on this defense. A lot of guys with reputations that they don't play up to. And this defense is just dreadful. Really dreadful. Thankfully, we have an offense, and I've said that. We are an offensive team. We have to outscore people. Mike Zimmer still, I don't think, gets that, like at the end of the first half.
Now, that wasn't the boldest attempt at the end zone on that one.
Yeah.
That was just a pure check down. You're already in field goal range. You might as well take a shot at a touchdown on that one.
They didn't even try to score a touchdown. They just settled for a field goal. They didn't go for the end zone at all. That's a mistake, you know? You got to try to score. Try to score a touchdown. Cousins played well. He wasn't perfect. He was good, not great. And the offense, 28 points. They didn't have Adam Thielen again on the road. They did what they had to do. You ought to be able to win when you score 28 points. You shouldn't have to hang on by your fingertips like that. But hey, they're 7-3. And it's going to be really hard for them not to make the playoffs at this point, given their remaining schedule. So that's good. Cousins will be in the playoffs. We'll see what he's really made out of. We'll see what the offense is really made out of. We'll also see what the defense is made of.
Backfield,
which it is what it is.
It is what it is, what it is.
Our awards for this week: the best performance by an unbelievably slow tight end who wears the number 82. That was a competition between Jason Witten of the Cowboys and Kyle Rudolph. We're giving this to Rudolph. Rudolph made a couple of huge catches. Touchdown and 2-point conversion catch, I think. It's good for him. It's good to see that. It's good to see no screens to Rudolph. They were throwing screens to Cook, which I would support wholeheartedly going forward. The award for the moment, I was so stunned, I couldn't function. Like my mind, my body, everything shut down. I couldn't move for like 15 seconds when I heard this.
Xavier Rhodes, the NFC Defensive Player of the Week last week.
I was like, where have I been? What did I miss? And I was thinking back to last week because I'm like, well, you know what? It seemed like he was the only guy who didn't really get completely torched. So, did he?
Xavier Rhodes, the NFC Defensive Player of the Week last week.
Did he?
Xavier Rhodes, the NFC Defensive Player of the Week last week.
No.
Xavier Rhodes, the NFC Defensive Player of the Week last week.
And then, okay.
Xavier Woods was the Defensive Player of the Week, not Xavier Rhodes.
Okay. The world makes sense again.
Not Xavier Rhodes.
It makes sense.
Not Xavier Rhodes.
The Randy Moss on Thanksgiving of 1998 flashback. That goes to Dalvin Cook for that. There was like a pass. I think it was a pass or a run along the sidelines where he just took off down the sideline. I'm like, this might be like Randy Moss. Cowboys Thanksgiving game where they threw that pass out to the sideline. He just took off down the sideline and scored. Now, Dalvin Cook didn't score on that play, but he got a big gain. He brought back those memories of 98 when everything was going so well.
The demons are what? Gone.
Pat Elflein Award for just not blocking the team's best pass rusher. That goes to Riley Reif, who just didn't block the Cowboys' best pass rusher. I mean, one of the plays, probably many of the plays, but this particular one I remember were. So let the guy go free at Cousins, and you know what happens. This offensive line, it's like, how are you the left tackle and you just don't block the right defensive? What is wrong with this freaking offensive? Why does the other team just ever not block Danielle Hunter? Why does that never happen? Oh, that's right, because nobody's that stupid. It's like, oh, but that's Cousins' fault. Richard Simmons impression of the week, that goes to Dak Prescott, who I don't know what was going on there. Don't have a clue and don't really want to know. The understandably shocked reaction by an announcer, that goes to Al Michaels.
And the pass is caught over the middle at the 41-yard line by Laquan Treadwell.
Treadwell caught a pass. It was just kind of like...
By Laquan Treadwell.
Treadwell?
By Laquan Treadwell.
Playoffs?
The 1,345,345th stupid thing Joe Buck has said since he started announcing. It was the Green Bay game where there was this pass Rodgers threw to one of the Packers receivers that just clearly hit the ground, and Buck is like...
And I don't think that ball hits the ground.
Mike Pereira's like...
I think he uses the ground to actually complete the catch.
Joe Buck...
And I don't think that ball hits the ground.
No.
And I don't think that ball hits the ground.
It hit the ground.
We don't know where it happened.
Todd Stussy Award for a false start you could see coming a mile away. That was when Alexander Madison had this amazing run where it looked like he got a touchdown. They ruled it a touchdown, but then they reviewed it and put the ball at like the half-yard line. And then your Vikings brain starts working. You're like, oh, there's going to be a penalty here. There's going to be a penalty here. And they got, of course, false start, Irv Smith. And took them till 4th and goal. They got in the end zone, but man, was it stressful. And last, the karma overload of the week. This is going to the Packers. So the Packers have been getting all these calls all year. There's another one that's just disgraceful calls that went in their favor. It was like a 3rd and 4, I think, and the Packers were in their own end zone. And Rodgers threw, I think, an incompletion. They hit Rodgers just as he was releasing the ball. And they called roughing the passer, just a complete garbage call. And
I've got to see this because I didn't see anything in the play. Now, do they drive him to the ground? I don't think so.
The announcers were apoplectic.
Everything you would coach, and how to avoid landing with all your weight on the quarterback.
Even Joe Buck was apoplectic about it.
And I don't think that ball hits the ground.
This is too much. And everybody's complaining, the Packers are getting all these calls. It's going to come back. It's going to come back on them. They are going to pay for this. Karma is going to come bite them in the butt. There is going to be a crucial call that goes against them in a future game that is really going to screw them. So just wait, everyone. Now, it's probably going to come in a playoff game against the Saints, which I don't know who I'd rather see win, the Packers or the Saints. Probably the Packers. So I'll actually probably be sad when it happens, but if it doesn't happen against the Saints, it'll be a thrill. But just everybody take it easy. Karma's coming for the Packers.
It is what it is, what it is.